Okay guys, welcome to the 6 real serial killers more terrifying than horror movies. So let's get started. Number 5. So Catherine Knight had a well-documented history of clown fuck lunacy. Beginning when she tried to strangle her first husband to death on the new wedding night. When he finally left her, Knight took the infant daughter and left her on a train track side, like, you know where it goes down and shit. But actually a hobo saved her. So then she actually fucking rampaged through this town and city and whatever and threatened to axe people, just random strangers. The fuck is this? Then she later went on, going on to another rampage. She actually slashed a woman's face with an axe, just so she can drive her to a service station. Just so she can drive her to a fucking service station. Lazy bitch, get a taxi. So then the woman, this horrible crazy bitch, took this little boy on hostage, and then the police arrived and beat her with brooms, is it? Because apparently Australians are crazy as shit. But that it doesn't just end there. It gets more insane. So then she finally met someone else. He had kids and he was named John Price. So and then they moved in together, despite the fact that this man, John Price, knew that she went on these rampages and she was an insane bitch. This guy went to his co-workers and said that if he's not in work the next day, ring the police because he's with a psycho bitch. I would not stay with a person that's psycho like that. Just walk out. Just bye, bitch. Then she went on a rage. I don't actually know why she went on an explosive fit or some shit. So then they broke up. He got a warrant, one of them warrant shits against her, but yeah, he comes back to have sex with her again because obviously he doesn't understand what one is. She slept in bed with each other and they fell asleep next to each other. So then she, in the middle of the night, stabbed him 37 times. Just imagine just being stabbed 37 times. I think he was dead like after the probably second one. Probably. When he didn't show up for work the next day, his co-workers obviously called the police because he suggested to do that, so they did. When the police showed up, his skin, headless body lying on the living room floor. Just nice sight. Pretty sexy shit. Just one piece of his body on it and one of them hoop shit hooks. Like, you know, that fucking Chainsaw Massacre and shit. That bitch going down. And his head was in a stove that was boiling hot with boiling hot water and shit. Just some crazy motherfucking bitch. And pieces of his asshole were on plates with vegetables and gravy. So this, like, I think she was trying to feed her kids, but even though she wasn't expecting them. And these children aren't actually children, they're adults, or young adults. So the police actually reported this case. Obviously they got her, because obviously, you serious? I think she's going away for death. And they actually put on a note on the file case, never to be released. Like some fucking horror movie villain or some shit. So yeah! Number 4. Russell Williams. Okay, so this is gonna be the funniest one I've looked at. So let's get started. A decorated colonel, is this a colonel, in the Canadian Armed Forces. He liked to break into homes of the neighbours where he like lived, like his neighbours. And what he did, underage daughters of the neighbours, yeah. He took photos. Well, he broke into the houses first. I don't know when, at night or when they were out or something. He took a photograph of himself wearing the girl's underwear and then chronically masturbated all over the bedrooms. He said he was getting the most out of his jailbreak spree. He even creepily typed a message on a 12-year-old's computer thanking her for the evening of boner flogging her bedroom that had been provided. All told, he committed 80 underwear burglaries, frequently breaking. They were at home when he once sprinted naked into a woman's house to ransack her unmentionable drawer while she was in the fucking shower. The fuck is this? He kept an organised library of thousands of photographs like these hidden in the basement. I will show them on the screen now. As you see, it's a crazy madman. It's crazy. That was when Williams decided to open up the throttle on his crazy and graduate to full-blown kidnapping and murder. He broke into the house of 2 different women, timed them up, and forcing them to pose for more photographs for his fucking insane collection. Then Williams broke into a house of a corporal he recognised from work, beat her into submission with a flashlight, and brutally murdered her, videotaping every horrific moment of his crimes and taking enough photographs to film a fucking album. He also stole huge amounts of clothing and underwear because he's some the maniac! Finally, William kidnapped a woman and took her to his cottage that he owned, where he fucking just terrorized her for no reason until she died. He recorded 4 hours of him just doing his shit to her. Just weird shit. Luckily, a witness had spotted Williams' Pathfinder outside of his last victim's house just before she disappeared, and so then police were able to arrest him. So he actually confessed his murders and crimes and put away for life. It just gets better. He tried to kill himself by swallowing toilet paper. Might have got a little shit on his mouth. Just a little bit of shit. Number 3. Ted Bundy was actually a really handsome guy, but behind his looks was a twisted fate and sickness. Behind his face was a killer. Between the years of 1974 and 1978, Bundy kidnapped and murdered 30 women in the USA. They're only the women that we know of today. Experts agree that he actually could have done 40 women's disappearance, which he hasn't actually confessed of though. To lure in his victims, he would actually act as a disabled person or like a person of authority. Other times he would simply break into the victim's home and plunge them to death as they sleep. After killing them, he would rape, torture and disassemble them. So that's like, is that necrophilia? Often keeping souvenirs like their heads. Awesome. And he kept them in his apartment like as fucking statues and shit. After a thrilling police chase, Bundy was finally arrested arrested and brought to justice in 1979 and was killed in the electric chair, gone and dusted in January 1989. I'm gonna go out and kill people. I get their heads instead. Number 2. Okay, so Jeffrey Dahmer is actually the scariest, like, serial killer in the US history. Apparently. In my light, because I went for a break and it's all gone down, dark. So I had to switch the light on. So I will have to sort my shit out. But this is fine for the time being. It's not really bothering, not really. Oh, a little shiny. And I'm an angel. So over the course of 13 years, Jeffrey Dahmer actually murdered 17 men and boys. Worse, his murders involved rape, including dismemberment, necrophilia, and cannibalism. Despite the fact that his victims escaped, it was not caught until one of them escaped into the street and flagged down a police car. Once the police got inside his apartment, they discovered quite a few things. Dahmer had actually been trying to create a mindless sex slave by drilling in the head of the still alive victim, and when the people died that he was testing on, he did grotesque things to the body, including sexual assault, and in some cases eating pieces of them. Tasty! He was eventually brought to justice on November 1994, the 28th of November. I'll just add. He was actually beaten to death by a fellow inmate at the Columbia Correctional Institution, where he had been incarcerated. That just sounds like best prison or institute ever. But seriously, they are good for killing. I mean, come on, if you had the chance to kill someone, would you? I mean, I would take the chance. Last but not least, number 1. Now we are actually, this is really interesting because I know this sounds sick. I've got an obsession with clowns and I absolutely love them. I mean, if I was becoming a serial killer, I would dress as a clown. So if you see a clown running around killing people, probably me. Anyway, John Wayne Gacy, also known as the Killer Clown, was actually a husband and a father, but he was actually a repeated sex offender who victimized countless people. He was actually caught sexually assaulting 2 teenagers in 1968 and was sentenced 10 years in jail. But due to his exemplary state in his prison, where he's acting good and everything, and he was acting nice as an inmate, I guess, he was released on parole after serving just 18 months in prison. That's like it's like 2.5 years, is it? Yeah. So he got a 2 years sentence and only 2.5 years in. Makes so much sense after sexually assaulting 2 teenagers in 96. That's wrong. Once he was released from jail, Gacy briefly remarried. So his wife or his ex-wife, I don't know, they remarried because she divorced when she discovered that he was secretly gay. Why would you remarry him if he was gay? He became a popular and jovial member of society, and he loved dressing up as apparently Pogo the Clown and volunteering at children's parades and other community gatherings. He was actually a respected businessman and well liked by his neighbours after he'd been accused or fined by sexually assaulting teenagers. What? During 6 years between the time from jail, he got arrested again for kidnapping someone. Gacy murdered an outstanding 33 people he actually killed. He stuffed them in a crawl space in his attic and some in the yard, and some he actually dumped in, I think it was a river or an ocean. He would lure hitchhikers, male prostitutes, and other young men into his car or his home, then torture, rape, and murder them. And then, after he was arrested and the police found the bones in his basement, he actually issued a full confession and was executed in 1994.
Thank you for watching, bitches!